All right, LUMATRIX has entered the contest. Let's break them down. So LUMATRIX comes into the contest with Rupture Immunity, Bleed Immunity, Invisibility, and Fracture Power Bar, and a bunch of other great utility that only can be found in the idol. But we'll get into all that. Let's discuss his combo. What is his combo like? Now, when I was playing him, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Ghost. Like only a slight bit because he has the ability invisibility, but he has an evade tied to it, and it's kind of tricky to get used to. And at times it feels like he's AI dependent because he's kind of you need the AI to hit into you in order to trigger the evade, which also in turn will trigger the invisibility. But if you get the AI to hit into your block, it's easily triggered, and once you get a handle on it, I feel like he can do some damage. As you can see, getting used to throwing his SP1 or his special can be a little tricky because, you know, it has a slight delay, but it isn't that bad. You just got to time it right. But that invisibility will save you if you happen to mess up because it's so clutch, but it doesn't work against specials. So keep that in mind. Let's discuss his strengths though. What are their strengths? Excuse me, not his. One of their strengths is avoiding basic attacks. With that evade and that invisibility combo, he can definitely avoid attacks and save you quite a bit of damage and some potions and revives because that invisibility is quite clutch. And it also creates unique openings on champions like, you know, Agent Venom, Kingpin, who loves to shake off your debuffs and stuns and punish you into oblivion. But with him, it's a passive stun, so you should be perfectly fine. And with that fractured power bar, you can definitely chain on specials. That's one thing I love about the idol, that you can chain on specials and he becomes unblockable if you chain on certain specials. So keep that in mind. But he does have some weaknesses. One of his weaknesses is the opponent specials. If the opponent throws lots of specials like Hyperion here, it's gonna remove his invisibility and you're gonna be pretty much at the mercy of, you know, the AI, and that's never fun. He's also reliant on his critical hit, so against champions like Mr. Sinister, he's going to be punished. So keep that in mind. Like, he does a lot of critical hits, which can be beneficial and a bad thing at the same time. And anyone that can counter evade or miss is going to be an easy counter for LUMATRIX, unfortunately. LUMATRIX is really dependent on his evade and his miss for his combo and stuff, but he does have some immunities. He has two that come to mind. One of his immunities, he's bleed immune. So, you know, if anyone that runs the damage masteries, he could benefit. He doesn't have a way to regen really, but he is bleed immune. And he's also rupture immune. Like, that's a unique combo. I can't think of many champions in the contest who are bleed immune and rupture immune, but he definitely is. So keep that in mind when you're playing against this. Yeah. Next up, I think we're going to discuss his signature ability. Now, to me, his signature ability was kind of like a little bit of a letdown. I was not impressed. I'm gonna read it to you right now. When he's awakened, when a non-damaging debuff on LUMATRIX expires naturally, passively reduce incoming damage by 60%. The opponent's instant damage effects have their ability accuracy reduced by 45%, double when fighting against science champions. So to me, I feel like he isn't worth a generic awakening gem or a class awakening gem in my opinion. I will wait to dupe him naturally, and I probably wouldn't even put any SIGs into him. I don't think he's really worth it in my opinion. Again, leave a comment below if you think otherwise, but yeah, I didn't think he was worth the awaken ability. His prestige is 27,380, so not bad prestige, but without awaken ability, I don't think it's really worth it. I feel like there are other champions who have better awaken abilities and who have higher prestige, so I will leave LUMATRIX where he is, in my opinion. But again, that's me. Other people may feel differently, so let me know. What is he like on defense? Now, this guy might be tricky on defense because he has that evade and he has that invisibility. So he's going to be, in my opinion, a tricky defender in battlegrounds, and he's going to need specific counters. Now, I would recommend get him to an SP2, but I think after every special, he becomes invisible. So keep that in mind. Like, you're definitely going to need specific counters. Like Hercules has that True Sense or True Strike or whatever it's called. I can't think of it right now. But pushing him to his SP2, you can basically outrange it. And you don't have to worry about, you know, getting caught like that. But again, he's going to be a really tricky defender because of that evade and that discounter. But, you know, he doesn't really, when I was fighting him, his health pool wasn't that bad. But again, when he's going to be on defense, he's going to be beefed up by a lot. So if you struggle with champions with evade and miss, you might want to hurry up and try to get this guy from the early access bundle if possible, because he's going to be a really good defender in my opinion. Now, for the stat focus, I recommend putting on the special attacks because that fracture power bar will definitely help him, because you can choose what special you want to throw, and you do benefit from throwing or chaining specials, especially with that unblockable and those fury. So yeah, on offense and defense, definitely the stat focus for special attacks. The relic I'll recommend for him would be the Black Panther relic, because, you know, LUMATRIX is really dependent on his critical hits, and the Black Panther relic would increase his ability to do more critical hits. The masteries I recommend for him are the Assassin Mastery and the Double Edge Mastery. However, I will say this, he's not going to be good for the damage masteries because of, you know, you have to throw specials. You could throw SP3, but with that fracture power bar, you're not going to want to always throw an SP3. You might want to chain on SP1 and SP2, but again, I don't really like the damage masteries anyway. I'm pretty sure there'll be people out there who do like the damage masteries, but keep that in mind. He doesn't have a way to regen as of yet. Maybe he'll get that in the future with another synergy. Who knows? We'll see. But at the end of the day, what are my overall thoughts on LUMATRIX? I really do like him. I like him a lot. I like the phase mechanic and the evade mechanic, and it's easily to refresh it. Like I said before, he does have some pros and cons. He's one of the pros are he's tricky defender. He's fine on awaken. He's also fine at low sig, and that power bar being able is fracture, so you can choose what special you want to throw. And I think that's really, you know, can be useful in the contest. The cons are he kind of has a really weak awaken ability. He's kind of tricky to play. I think there's going to be definitely a learning curve. He's also AI dependent, and he does have some weak synergies. But again, like a lot of the champions that Kabam has released this year, I feel like his pros far outweigh his cons, and I think he's going to be very useful in the contest, especially in battlegrounds. I don't know if I would use him in the quests right away. Maybe in time, about using the quest. I think he can. I think he's built to quest, but I don't know if I would use him. Again, I'm picky about who I use to quest, so don't take my opinion for it. I use the quest with certain champions, and maybe, you know, LUMATRIX can work his way up, but as of right now, I don't know if I would use him in quest, but I will use him offensively and defensively in battlegrounds. I think he's a well-rounded champion. He doesn't have many weaknesses, in my opinion, because you don't really need synergies in battlegrounds, and his awakened ability, again, you can use it in the battlegrounds. It'll depend on the node. But other than that, I feel like he doesn't really have many weak spots in my opinion. But again, that's my opinion. Leave a comment below if you feel otherwise. But overall, I think he's a solid champion, and I like him. I think he's going to do amazing things in the contest, and I do like him more than ISO Fiend so far. I do have ISO Fiend. He was a free champ. I'm assuming he's going to be a free champ too, but we'll see when he's a. But if you did like this video, please hit that like button. And for anyone new here, if you can hit that sub button, I'll greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care. Have a great and wonderful day.